thank you for joining us for, this is called My Essential Wellbeing Study, and the study itself is running from, officially we're starting on Monday, so that's the study period, is the period that you're actually going to be using your oils, and it's a 10-day study. It's a non-medical study, and yeah, so you'll be using your oils up to and including the 24th, which is a Wednesday, so 10 days. And what we're looking to do is just really get some user experiences of how therapeutic grade oils can work and support some common ailments. So just before we start, I'm just to say also I'm running this session this evening with my friend and colleague Jose. So Jose's on, so we'll be doing this together. I'm just letting someone else in. When I do that, I have to come out of the slides to do that. I won't be a second. There we go. Yeah, so I'll be doing this with my colleague Jose. But before we get going, just to say that, you know, just like any hello, welcome there. Hi. So yeah, just like any I don't know, natural sort of medicine or vitamin or supplement, herbs, homeopathy, you know, they're not medicines. So this is just our disclaimer that they're, you know, they're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure or prevent disease. And, you know, please just, if you're on any medications, do just check back with us after this class this evening, and we can guide you around how you might want to approach that. So just to start then, 3 things about doTERRA oils. So the 3 things, just to keep it simple, as you can see there, is that they're natural and they're effective and they're safe. So just kind of set the scene, give you a bit of context before we actually go into the oils that you guys are using and what we'd like you to do with them. So when an oil is extracted, it's extracted from the plant material, and they're always very, very potent. So they're very strong. They're natural, natural plant medicine, but one of the strongest you can find. And that the cups of tea there gives you an example. So some of you might know this particular brand because it's very pure. You can use it internally if you choose. So you could make a peppermint tea, which is really delicious, a drop of peppermint oil in a mug of hot water. And, you know, equivalent herbal tea cups, tea bags would be about 28. So, you know, that makes them very potent, but also very affordable because they are so strong. We're only ever needing a drop at a time to support something. They're also very effective. Now, when we use a medicine is, it can help, it can trick us, it can make us feel that it's sorting us out and it's helping, but actually it's normally only addressing the symptoms. A medicine can never kind of get to address why we are having that particular symptom in the first place. An essential oil actually can, because over time when we're using it, it's helping to balance the body and address perhaps, I don't know, a gland or an organ that's out of balance, or a hormone that's affecting different things, or maybe tissues in the body. So over time we can actually address symptoms, but actually via the root cause, which is really what we're wanting to do, and without any side effect concerns or kind of, you know, toxic buildup. Not to say that medicine doesn't have its place, but I think it's really important to consider using something natural first. And then actually the little picture of the cell in the middle there at the bottom just goes to show us that essential oils are very exciting because they can actually help us in ways that medicines can't sometimes. Now, the purple kind of splodge there is a virus, and viruses live inside our cells. The green splodge is on the outside, that's a bacteria. And the outside of our cell is oil. And most medications are water-based, and we know water and oil don't mix. Nearly every medicine can't get into our cells, which is why if we have a virus and we go to the doctor, we're sent home. So it's very exciting that because oils are oil-based, they can pass through that cell. So oils tend to go where they're needed when we use them. They're very clever. And yeah, this is a really big deal, that we can kind of start to use oils and think of them in a way that we can use them to support our health and our wellness, not just historically, you know, how we've perhaps grown up to assume that essential oils were just to make our room smell nice. Now we can actually use them as a support for all types of health and wellness. So it kind of changes up how we can use things. And then the last thing is that they're safe. So, you know, doTERRA oils, they're 100% pure, and it really does change, you know, how we can use them, because if they are that pure, as I said earlier, we can, for example, take them internally if we choose, but also just use them in a variety of ways to support our health. I'm going to pass you over to Jose now, and she's going to talk about the quality, the purity of the oils.
Okay, hello ladies. Yeah, the CPTG is the Certified Pure and Therapeutic Grade. This is amazing, because what happened right now, there is no actually any rule or any that involves proving that the essential oil are completely pure. So you can actually find any oils outside, and they can actually say pure, and it's not actually pure. It's only, they have maybe less than 1% of the plant, and the rest is just chemicals or just oil, just like a curry oil. So what happened, doTERRA wanted to actually make sure that they actually sells quality oils for everybody, in order to be able to actually use internally, aromatical and topical. Yeah, that is what the idea for the essential oil. So they actually create a company to actually make sure that every single oil that they sell is actually high in quality, and they have all the chemicals that they need to have in order to work perfectly in our body. So when we say the doTERRA oil are pure, is because there is nothing in the bottle. When we sell peppermint oil, we are actually selling just peppermint. There is no artificial ingredient, there is no chemical, there is nothing there, just pure peppermint. Like my colleague said before, they are so pure and so natural that you can actually find 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cup of peppermint. So it's quite very strong. And then we have all the testing here, which is amazing how doTERRA actually test the oils. They actually start from the beginning, when they actually harvest the plant, and they do 3 different testing to make sure that everything there is completely pure, and there is nothing between the actually transportation and the production that maybe can actually make something that is gonna actually it will actually damage the oil, which is very, very good. Well, you can see the different testing that, but it's very scientific testing, which I don't think it will be more intense to actually explain every single thing, but it's quite a good one, because you will not find any other company they actually do this for the oils. It's quite amazing. If we back to the next one, the before, because sorry,
That's
before
okay.
that one, no, the other one. So when we say safe, obviously, it's because it's completely natural and doesn't have any chemicals inside. And then when we say potent, it's because every single oil is coming from the perfect soil in the world. So for example, here, doTERRA have different farms in everywhere in the world, but they actually make sure that when they go into a farm, that farm has this perfect soil to actually grow the plant. So they have all the compounds and chemicals that it will be able to actually work in benefit in our body. So it's amazing. For example, the lavender is coming from Bulgaria. because they actually find out that that is the best soil to actually grow lavender, to get all the properties that we need from that oil, which is amazing. You can see we have South America, we have Central America, then all the in the Kenya, Africa part. It's quite nice to have all different oil from different country, because it's like when you go on holiday and you buy fruit from that country, it tastes completely different when you buy the fruit here. So it's the same thing with the oil. Once the oil is coming from the right soil, it will have everything for you to actually get the benefit in the oil from the oil.
Excellent. Yeah. So as Jose was saying, you know, it needs to have everything it needs. So each plant, if it's grown in its indigenous kind of location where the growing conditions are optimal, there's not going to be any chemistry missing, which means that the oil is going to be able to do everything that, say, lavender should do and we expect it to do. If lavender was grown somewhere in the world where the growing conditions weren't optimal but it would still grow, it's going to be missing chemical components, natural chemical components, and it won't do all the things we expect lavender to do. So we might be buying lavender, but it might not have the chemical component we need to support sleep, for example. So co-impact sourcing is just really, this is kind of how doTERRA intentionally, they don't have farms, they intentionally work with lots of small communities, create networks across the world so that they're empowering lots of individuals. So they kind of empower farmers, if you like, rather than creating farms intentionally, because they want to, that part of their business model is to lift the lives of as many people as they can in the process. So just before we move on to how you're going to use your oils, a couple of safety bits. So generally speaking, with these oils, you can use them one of three ways. You can use oils aromatically. This just means we're smelling them. So as simple as, you know, literally taking the top off your bottle and smelling your oil, but also you could put them in a cold mist diffuser, like the one pictured there, or like many of you are going to do within the study, a drop in the palms of your hands and just kind of rub your hands together and smell. That's a really good way. And that just gets it into the body really quickly. But it's a very popular way to support the mind, mood and emotions. So that's why you guys will be using this way for, you know, the anxiety, stress and mood ones particularly. Topicals another way. So sometimes we're applying the oil to a targeted area. So if we've got tissue discomfort or say a stuffy nose, or not a stuffy nose, well, you might do it a stuffy nose diluted and topically, you know, muscle aches, digestive issues, you might be rubbing the oil. So we're targeting an area. Also topical, if you put an oil on the soles of your feet, it's actually interacting in your bloodstream within about 20 minutes. So it's a good way to get an oil around the body if you're trying to target kind of, we call that systemic. And then lastly, you need to make sure your oils that the company is advocating internal use. Nearly, you know, the majority of oils out there, the bottles say do not internalize. So please don't go drinking just random oils you've got at home. Do check first. We need the oils to be 100% pure, but there is the option to take oils internally when they are therapeutic grade. Not every oil, just some oils, but many you can, and it's just a nice way either for health benefits or actually for food flavorings is a really nice one as well. So you might be putting lemon oil excuse me, in a salad dressing, or peppermint in a chocolate smoothie or something like that. And then essential oil safety. So we want to obviously, part of doTERRA's philosophy is we lead with education first. We want to, you know, guide you and hold your hand and keep you safe. So just simple things, try and keep the oils out of any orifices. I did this earlier. I was using peppermint in something. I'd obviously got it on my hands and then I itched my eye and my eye was like watering loads. They're not going to hurt you, but they just can feel uncomfortable. Just the main thing is please don't use water if this happens. Use any plain vegetable, nut, seed oil, even if it's olive oil from your kitchen, because that's what's going to dilute it, not water, because water and oil don't mix, remember. And citrus oils. So if anybody's receiving citrus oils as part of their study oils, they are photosensitive, which means that if you're putting them on the skin, we're not, that's not how we're using them as part of the study, but just so you know, don't put like citrus oils on your sun exposed areas and be in the sun, like intense sun or sunbeds, because that can cause burning. So there's a key below which gives you an idea of you know, the ways that different oils can be used and whether they need to be diluted or not. So on to the 5 study areas and how you're going to be using your oils. So sleep was one of our areas, and most people we start them with lavender, but sometimes wild orange. And if anybody's been sent 2 oils, which some people have, you'll find that one bottle is full and the other one is kind of like a backup. So if you've got 2 oils, assume the one that I'm talking about now is the one you're going to be using, is the fuller one. So what you would do for sleep, so this particular study area, we're only doing at bedtime, whereas all the other study areas we're using the oils 3 times a day. So you would take your lavender oil or your wild orange oil, and let me find a little bottle so that I can demonstrate. So this might sound really silly, but it's really important just to know that when you turn your bottle upside down, the oil won't come out. You need to tap it with your finger like this. Please try and avoid shaking it, because we've kind of measured out just enough oil to last you the study, and we don't want you to run out. So if you could just get used to tap, 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 and just do the number that's suggested, and then you'll have the right amount to support you, but also enough to see you to the end of the study. So 6 taps, and what you would do is you would rub the oil into the soles of your feet. You can do this before bed, so you could do this like half an hour before bed, or if you forget, you can just do it at bedtime. Rub it into the soles of your feet. If you choose, you can add a little bit of carrier oil, but you don't need to. Lavender and orange, they're both very gentle oils. And because you've just rubbed the oil into the soles of your feet, you'll have it on your hands. And what we'd like you to do is cup your hands like this around your nose and your mouth, and inhale deeply at least 5 times, and then you're done. And what we would like you to do is, if you wake up in the night, please repeat that, but just with half the amount of oil. So repeat that little routine just with half the amount of oil. And what I should also say is, if, for example, you're doing any of the study areas and you feel after the first day that it didn't help, just persevere, because it doesn't necessarily always help after just the first day. Sometimes we have to kind of build on its cumulative effect, but also there might have been other reasons that affected your sleep or affected your stress levels that day. So that's the benefit of using an oil for 10 days. But having said that as well, we will be getting in touch with you after the first 2 or 3 days, because sometimes, for whatever reason, maybe that wasn't the right oil for you. And we will kind of send you something else if for whatever reason you need to we think you need to try something else. Okay, so that's sleep. Okay, mood. So promoting a positive mood. Most people have been given wild orange. Balance, by the way, is also known as the grounding blend, and it's a very it's good for getting you out of your head, like that head chatter, and kind of back into your body. But wild orange can be good for that too. And with this one, we're going to be doing this at least 3 times a day. So we recommend kind of when you wake up and when you go to sleep, and then whenever you want, again, sort of during the day. And what we're going to be doing for this one is we're going to do 3 taps each time into the palms of your hands. Rub your hands together, cup your hands around your nose and mouth again, and inhale deeply 5 to 10 times. And you can rub any excess just on the back of your neck. That's quite a nice thing to do, and you'll get a bit kind of systemically through the system as well that way. Would you like to do the next two, Jose?
Okay, so now we're going to digestion. So for anyone have any problem with the digestion, we have the Senjes or peppermint. So in this case, you will use the oil that you have, and it's also we're gonna do 3 times a day, and it's 3 cups, and then you're gonna put that in water, or you can actually mix in milk if you want. We suggest that if you do in milk, it will do vegetable milk is better, but in water is fine as well. So you just tap 3 times in the water and just drink that. Okay, so you don't have to actually have a big glass of water. Just in a little bit is fine, and then you can just you can actually you're gonna do 3 tap as well to the stomach. Yes, is that. Yeah. And also use 3 tap. You can put a little bit of maybe coconut oil or almond oil if you have, and then rub that in your tummy in clockwise direction. So it's quite nice to do it as well. That is one of the things. And obviously, any excess that you have, you can just keep rubbing in your tummy. It's no problem.
And also, just to say, this particular blend, it tastes of fennel. It's got caraway and anise, star anise in it, and peppermint and some other oils. Some people love it. Some people just can't stand it. So again, if you don't like the taste of it, if you've tried it in milk, try it in water. If you've tried it in water, try it in milk. And then if you don't like either of those, dilute it and rub it around your tummy. And if for whatever reason you're not getting on with it, we could send you some peppermint sort of, a few days in. So again, keep in touch with us.
This one, okay, that's stress and anxiety. So we have wild orange, lemon, or lavender as well. So in this one, it will be 5 to 10. Okay, so it's 3 times or 5 times a day, depends how busy you are during the day. So it's you're gonna take as well 3 taps into your palm and rub that, and obviously you just need to inhale from your hands. And then what you're going to do, you're gonna just keep there and breathe up to 10 times. Like you can just count until 10 and breathe there. Okay, which is quite nice to actually calm you. You can actually you can rub that in your back, in your neck, anywhere that you like to have. That is quite nice. And you're gonna do that between 3 and 5 times a day. So if you can do all of them, it will be amazing. But if you can, at least 3 times a day, it will be good to do it.
Lovely. Yeah, and the reason the way these oils work for stress and anxiety, and also for the mood, in case anyone was wondering, is lavender's been shown to be as effective as anxiety medication, and also it's been shown to reduce the stress hormone cortisol. So if you're kind of wondering, well, how is this going to work? How is this going to help me? There's over like 30,000 studies on essential oils for different ailments, and citrus oils particularly and lavender are really good for all the kind of the stress, the anxiety, and the mood issues. And then the last study area, we're looking at the respiratory system. So this could be different things for different people. It could be things like allergies or hay fever, could be a stuffy nose. So it could be something like sinusitis or asthma. So there's a blend. It's actually used to be called Breathe. It's now called Air, and it's got things like eucalyptus and peppermint in it. It's got cardamom. It's got ravensara leaf. And it's a really good one for kind of opening up the airwaves. So yeah, most people will have this one, but peppermint otherwise. And what we're going to do with this one, we're actually going to dilute it. So 3 taps, but dilute it and actually rub it. So this is an example of the topical usage that I was talking about. So depending on where your symptoms are, you know, based on those, you know, it might be the chest, it could be the sinuses, it could be up, you know, around here. And then once we've rubbed it in there, again, because we've got it on our hands, we're going to also have that aromatic experience of inhaling 5 to 10 times. And once again, we're going to do this 3 times a day. Okay, so we're pretty much there. This is just kind of what's going to happen during the actual study. So as I mentioned earlier, you know, the person that has invited you onto this study will check in with you. So after like 2 to 3 days, just to see if you're getting on all right, if you've got any questions, is the oil, are you happy with the oil that you're using? We have got, for those of you that are on Facebook, which I think is all of you, we run a little kind of support / information group during the 10 days, and we post some information on there on each of the oils. So by the time the 10 days is up, you know, you've learnt a bit about the oils that we've talked about this evening. And if you've got questions and things, you can ask them on there. And also we run, you know, a handful of little prize draws throughout the week as well. So you can have the opportunity to sort of win a little oil. And then the questionnaires, so you'll remember when you sort of saw our original ad that the study comprises of you completing, it's a really short questionnaire, and we can do it kind of across the computer, but it's basically the same questionnaire that you complete at the beginning and before you start and the end when you finish. And what we're looking at obviously is we just kind of a measure, have your symptoms, have your answers changed from the beginning to the end. Obviously it's quite a short period of time. We've explained it's not a serious medical study, but it's just to give you guys and us a little sense of whether the oils have helped. So if you haven't had your questionnaire, you know, we'll be sending those out for you to kind of complete and return before Monday, the initial one. And then at the end, we'll email the similar one out for you to complete at the end. And then, you know, as long as they're done and you're all here, you come to the closing class as well, then we'll return your deposits. And at the closing class, we kind of we don't go through like individual results, but we will summarize the results by each study area, and we will also give you a little bit of information around what we call our top 10 oils. So most of them actually we've already talked about today. There's a couple of others that we weave in. And you know, if you would like to, no obligation, but we'll also explain how you can get them into your home if you've kind of just loved the you know, the experience of using them and you found that they help. So that's kind of, I think, pretty much all we wanted to share this evening. I'm just going to stop the share, and yeah, if anybody's got any questions, you're very welcome to unmute yourselves and ask us.